This is 88.9 FM. I'm Jill Roberts. If I say the word cookie, most likely you think of a sugary, gooey treat. Well, that's not the case when it comes to Joseph's Lite cookies. His cookies don't have sugar, nor do they have any of the popular sugar substitutes.
So at the age of 9, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and the doctors told my parents when we were in the emergency room that I would be dead by the age of 17.
Sebastian resident Joseph Semprevivo is now 43, but in taking care of himself, he developed the sugar-free cookies. That, however, is kind of the end of the story. He goes back to the beginning in his book titled Madness, Miracles, and Millions. He wrote it with his father. The story begins when Lawrence Semprevivo was involved in an industrial accident that caused his hand to be crushed in a printing press. The hospital where he was treated was ill-prepared for the injury and ended up basically dumping the elder Semprevivo in the parking lot and wishing him luck. But according to Joseph, that's exactly what they had.
Luckily they got my dad transported to another hospital, and there happened to be an expert there from another country, a visiting surgeon, that said, wait a minute, you have a cast on his arm, his fingers are turning blue, this is the wrong treatment. We got to cut that cast and we have to treat him. So they went into treatment and ultimately they saved my dad's arm.
So begins a series of changes, a long-distance move, and a new way to make a living, owning a restaurant. That's where Joseph first began thinking about the desserts he couldn't eat.
Because my dad was making a regular ice cream every day, and he said, hey, Joseph, after school, you make the regular ice cream for our customers. And I did this for months and months. I said, Dad, I want a sugar-free ice cream I can eat. And so I made the very first sugar-free ice cream, froze it. It was delicious before I froze it. And once I froze it, I tried to eat it, it was like a block of ice. So my dad perfected it with my mom, and we put it in pints and started selling it in New Mexico.
But ice cream can be tricky. It melts. Cookies don't.
I made ice cream from 12 years old to the age of 15, sold it in stores. And then I told my parents, could you make me a sugar-free cookie? And that Saturday, the upcoming Saturday at 10 a.m., they made a sugar-free oatmeal cookie. And that's where Joseph's Cookies was born that day.
So Joseph Semprevivo had 2 successful businesses even before heading to college. But the road wasn't easy. Life put lots of obstacles in front of his family, some dealing with health, some with employees who were less than trustworthy. That's what led Joseph and his father to write it down. But, he says, it was his mother's idea.
We know what it's like to have no money whatsoever, and that never leaves your mind. Everything you do in the back of your mind is always about, I remember when I had nothing. I remember when my parents were skipping meals so the kids, the 3 of us, could eat. And when we asked them why they were skipping meals, I remember my parents' answer very clearly. We already ate some while we were cooking. We're full. Don't worry about it. And until later, I realized they were actually skipping meals because we had no money.
The family wanted to share its story to possibly help others and to show that starting over more than once can end with success, and that change is something you at times may be forced to embrace. The book is called Madness, Miracles, Millions by Joseph and Lawrence Semprevivo. We'll have a link to Joseph's cookies on our website, WQCS.org. For 88.9 FM, this is Jill Roberts.